Hey, Eduardo, I'm in your house here. It's an empty house, and it's good to see. We're gonna bankrupt you right out of Miami, and we're gonna take all your dolphins away soon. See you soon, Eddie.
There's some context to this for those of you who don't know what's going on. Start from the beginning, short and sweet, and then I want to talk about that dolphin. This is Miami
Hey,
Seaquarium.
Eduardo, I'm in your house here. It's an empty house, and it's good to see. We're gonna bankrupt you right out of Miami, and we're gonna take all your dolphins away soon. See you soon, Eddie.
And by the way, watch the dolphin. It's almost as though the dolphin decides to say, hey, Eddie, look at my butt. Good evening, everyone. Remove this. All right, for those of you who don't know who that is, that's Phil Damaris, the Walrus Whisperer. Okay, for those of you who don't know, Phil Damaris, the man you just saw right there, from Ontario, Niagara Falls region, he got involved in a decade-long litigation with Marineland. Everybody knows Marineland. Everybody loves Marineland. And I'm being sarcastic. In my Niagara Falls, Ontario. Everyone loves Marineland. Not everybody loves Marineland. Phil Damaris used to work as an animal trainer at Marineland. He was known as the Walrus Whisperer because he developed a relationship with Smooshy the Walrus. Like Smooshy, when she was a calf, bonded with Phil. They had an amazing human-animal relationship, unique, singularly unique. It made Phil quasi-famous. He was on Wipeout Canada. He hit the news because of his connection with his walrus. He ended up leaving Marineland because he could not stand the way they were treating the animals there. He spilled the beans on how Marineland was treating their higher order mammals at Marineland, and then Marineland sued him, his girlfriend, and he was dragged into 10 plus years of lawfare with Marineland, who were notoriously litigious, to the extent that they're notoriously litigious, I won't call them any names. They were notoriously they were proactive with lawsuits, but not with, making them go quickly, because they were trying to bankrupt and silence Phil Damaris. He ended up coming out of that decades-long litigation somewhat victorious. Their lawsuit was dismissed, and he settled his cross-claim for abusive proceedings simply by ensuring that Smooshy the Walrus, who had then had a calf in that 10-year period, breeding walruses in captivity, ensuring that she would be transferred to a proper facility that Marineland was not, and it ended up happening. Smooshy was transferred to a place in Abu Dhabi. Apparently it's beautiful, but Phil, I'm not sure that he can visit. All right, so that's how Phil became known as an animal rights activist through his litigation with Marineland. 10 plus years, it ended up with Marineland dropping their suit, Phil settling his counterclaim, Smooshy the Walrus, #free Smooshy, she got a good home in Abu Dhabi. He has set his sights on the Miami Seaquarium. Now, a few weeks ago, the day before I left actually to drive back to Montreal, I went to Miami Seaquarium. I went to see the protest because he and his crew were organizing a protest there. And then Phil said, you're not going to believe how bad it is inside unless you go in to see it. And I went in and I made a short documentary. I didn't know it was going to be as bad as it was. I went in there. For those of you who didn't see the video, maybe I won't play a clip for it now, but they have two manatees, one of which is 65 years old and the other one I think is 40 years old, living in a glorified swimming pool. I mean, there are people with backyard pools bigger than the manatee den. The place was the most depressing place I've ever seen. Maybe the Bronx Zoo was a little more depressing. So I made a short documentary about that, but Phil Damaris has now turned his sights on the Miami Seaquarium because behind the scenes of the depressing part that's open to the public, they've got an orca named Lolita. She's got another name now. I forget what her other name is because Lolita has unfortunate connotations. There's an orca living in a stadium that's not accessible to the public day in and day out. I'll show a video. Actually, I have to show a video of that. Hold on. I'll show you what the conditions for orca currently look like. This is his Twitter feed. This is what the orca is currently living in. He got this footage, or I don't know that he got it, actually. Somebody got it by drone, which is going to lead us into another legal aspect of all of this. This is a killer whale, Lolita. Did I say orca or killer whale? Killer whale. Maybe they're the same thing. I might be an idiot. Forget it. Living in this fish tank. She's been there for, I don't know, decades. This stadium has been condemned. It's not open to the public anymore. This whale is sitting there basking in the open sunlight with a little shallow portion. That is apparently that little fish there that you see is another type of dolphin. I forget what it is. That's intended to keep her company. I said, this is not a life for a gerbil, let alone a killer whale. Phil Damaris has turned his sights to Eddie, who owns the Miami Seaquarium, and wants to wage the righteous war against Eddie. Phil Damaris got served with a lawsuit a couple of weeks ago. When I was there the day of, there was a bailiff or a process server trying to serve Phil Damaris with papers, and he was no longer there. The process server couldn't find him. It looks like they might have found him because Phil tweeted about how he's been served. He's been served with a lawsuit, something like an injunction, a no trespass, and a cease and desist from flying drones over the facility to capture aerial footage, because God forbid the world should see what's going on at the Miami Seaquarium in a part that's not accessible to the public. So that's Phil Damaris. And he, as far as I understand, I mean, the whole joke is I don't think he's welcome on the property. And like a true gangsta with an A, he's in there in front of that dolphin pool. Hey, Eddie, I got into your place here. I'm going to bankrupt you. Get rid of that freaking whale. The hashtag is a free Lolita, but I forget what the name is. And that's it. That was the intro today. I was going to start with the video of me getting shocked by an electric fence at a wedding I was at yesterday. But in order to see that, you'll have to go and join our community at vivabarneslaw.locals.com. All right, people, good evening.